Well, I have been waiting for this hunt for the entire season. This is the first year in probably 10 years where we weren't down here in the early season chasing mule deer. Jeffrey pulled a 12-year antelope draw, and with everything else going on, I wasn't able to make it down earlier, so we planned it out where I was going to come down with him, and we're looking for antelope, but at the same time, I have a mule deer tag in my pocket.
With the way the Alberta limited entry draw system works, there are certain tags that most residents are applying for, with the acceptance that they won't get drawn for over a decade. We apply for them each year, but it's not until usually around year 12 that we stand a fighting chance of actually pulling the tag. For Jeffrey, this past fall was his year when he finally drew his first Trophy Antelope Tag for Southern Alberta. As excited as we were to finally have the chance to participate in this hunt, we also know all too well the absolute gong show the season has become. With nearly 150 hunters who've all waited the same 12 plus years for the tag being crammed into a short 6-day season, the first few days are always mayhem. So Jeffrey and I had a different approach this year. We were going to keep our eyes open for a big old antelope if we found one, but we were going to mainly focus on chasing mule deer around for the first 2 or 3 days of the season to let the majority of the crowd fill their tags and go home, before we focused our attention on some of the hot spots that we know hold really good goats if you work for them.
I can see one back fork, but he's narrow. It's not that one for sure. He's got a really good back fork, but his left front is kind of crab clawy. And I can't see his right antler very good. And we know there's 2 other bucks that came into the same coulee further up. So we're gonna drop back and work around to the top, see if we can get eyes on those, and maybe come in from the side and get a side look at this buck to make sure, see what he has for forks, see what he actually looks like. Because if he's looking away from us, it's the most deceiving angle. Either raking a tree or fighting. But you can hear something over there. I can hear it. That's perhaps one of the coolest deer I've seen in a long time. And this morning when we saw him on the horizon, I knew he was a giant ancient old body deer, but I swore he was only a big forky. Jeffrey didn't believe me, but we snuck up here. We spotted the one big one that we want to kill. And then up came this other giant body deer, and he's just a grandpa, but yeah, he's sure enough a giant forky.
Against the odds, we managed to sneak our way into less than 30 yards from the buck that we were after. The wind was good, and we tucked under a tree for cover. To be honest, I thought for sure we were getting a shot at this buck, but after waiting for nearly an hour, he started to get restless before quickly standing from his bed and scurrying down the hill. We never could figure out what bumped him, but he got away without offering us a shot.
Fatal Impact is proudly sponsored by Wood Wheaton Supercenter, Rexbid Broadheads, the MD of Bonnyville, Hoyt Archery, Weatherby, Deluxe Wall Tents, and Wapiti River Outdoors. This segment of Fatal Impact is brought to you by Wood Wheaton Supercenter, a proud supporter of our outdoor heritage.
After bumping that buck earlier in the day, we decided to take a drive a bit further south to another one of our favorite mule deer spots in hopes of finding a buck bedded. It's not typically known for antelope, but at the last minute, Jeffrey strapped the Weatherby to his pack just in case. We started biking our way into the property, stopping to glass along the way. When far out in the distance, Jeffrey quickly glassed up a group of antelope, and knowing that we were running out of daylight, we made the decision to try and work our way over to them before dark.
Lots of mass, eh?
He's a big deer, or a big buck.
Those two in the back, those are both just massive on the bottom. It's gonna actually be tough figuring out which is the one. Well, Dana and I have gone basically to the farthest end of this property that we got permission on. And lo and behold, there is 24, maybe 30 antelope, several bucks, 6, 7 bucks. One of them looks just massive, massive bases, big cutters. I mean, we can see that from here. We're 970 away. So we're kind of fighting the time. We've got about 45 minutes till sunset, maybe half hour. So we're gonna have to make a loop, make some tracks, cut this distance down by about 800 yards. So I hope you're ready to burn some boot leather.
We've come this far.
We've come this far. They were quite a bit further than I had hoped.
We gotta close about 500 yards really quick. They're moving over to the right and away from us, and it looks like they went in a little bit of a dip. And I don't know if we're gonna get there in time.
I think so.
I'm on the one to the left. The one that's broadside? Tell me which one.
No. The one that's pointed towards us by himself.
Where's he at?
To the right.
Okay. Is he doe walking?
Like 6th from the right. Turk put his head down to the right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, to the right.
Something like that. Okay, now there's another doe behind him.
I'm in that big group to the right.
No, to the left.
To the left?
He's on the right side of the group to the left. He just turned. He's got a doe standing right in front of him there. Now he's all by himself. Now he's walking. You got him?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Now he stopped.
I've got the whole group.
Now he's kind of coming towards us.
He's third to the right? Or third to the left?
Yeah.
Okay, I've got him there.
Way back, eh?
Hit him again.
Fatal Impact is proudly sponsored by Scree Gear, Top-Notch Taxidermy Studio, Uniro Electric Bikes, Ole Smokes Coffee, Federal Premium Ammunition, High Mountain Seasonings, and Onyx Hunt. This segment of Fatal Impact is brought to you by the MD of Bonnyville. Lake adventures happen here.
Well, that was mayhem. I just killed a goat. I started drawing for that pronghorn tag the year I got married, 12 years ago. We are as far from anywhere as you can possibly be. We are in the middle of nowhere. Dude, this thing is an absolute monster. I've never been up close to a pronghorn. What a cool animal.
Okay, he's like a perfect heart.
Dude, I am blown away by this thing. Like this cutter. Like this cutter is gonna be 7 inches. Dana and I, we're gonna just take a peaceful little 5-minute ride from the truck with our bikes to take a look at some goats that weren't even on the land that we can hunt, but they were the next to it, and we wanted to see what they look like and get some practice looking at goats and judging them a little bit. And we came over the hill and we saw a herd of what we thought was about a dozen. And so we hammered down, covered almost 3 miles.
Oh, more than that. From where we seen them, it's more than 3 miles.
More than 3 miles.
We thought they were 3 miles, and we got there and we're like, no.
2 kilometers almost. Well, long story short, we come over the hill and there's close to 30 goats. They'd seen us, they're running back and forth. Dana and I are trying to get on the same one. It was mayhem, but this guy, he stood out from all the rest. I mean, these cutters were, and the mass, you could just tell. There was no doubt about it. This was a monster goat. And so after after some confusion and some panic and a 900-yard sprint, we thumped him. Man, that gun put a hurt on him. That's the 270 Weatherby Magnum.
I got a lot of lessons left to learn.
She's a chilly one out there this morning. It's only 3 degrees. And we are about to jump on the bikes and bike way up a massive hill and head as far back away from, again, a road as we can. There's a really nice spot that we've had really good luck at this time of year. In the past, it seems like a lot of the deer from the neighboring areas below this ridge get road hunted and pushed up, and they all run back there and hide. And so we kind of have a 2-day window with the weather. Today it looks like it's gonna be nice but calm with the wind, which isn't ideal. And then tomorrow we get a big front that comes in where it's still gonna be nice weather but windy, and then after that it's blowing in some rain and some crap for the weekend. So I can't believe there's not many in front. Like this front roll here, there's always a group of like a half a dozen bucks that hang out there. One usually really good one. We've shot a lot of bucks just along this first little face. Although we found some solid deer in the morning, we decided to take a gamble and head way to the back of the property where we had hunted a giant frame typical the year prior. I didn't know if he was still alive, but I needed to find out. By the time we got back there, it was getting late in the day and the wind was picking up like crazy. But as soon as we came around the first edge of the coulee, we glassed into a bull up top in the brush, and there he was. We knew we weren't going to have much time to make a play, so we immediately circled around to close the distance.
We are down to the absolute wire here. This is our last afternoon. We have nasty weather rolling in, the wind is howling, and tomorrow, and the next 3 days, is a big rainstorm. We just spotted a giant mule deer buck. And I'm pretty sure it's the same buck that I came this close to killing last year. And he's bedded really close to where he was in a perfect spot. So we're dropping the gear and we're gonna head up over the hill and we're gonna hopefully kill this mule deer.
This segment of Fatal Impact is brought to you by Scree Canada, rugged hunting clothing for Canada's terrain. This segment of Fatal Impact is brought to you by Tourism Saskatchewan.
We rushed to try and get into position on this deer up top, but as we crested the hill, he wasn't there. Jeffrey glanced across the valley and he was already on his feet and had worked his way to the other side. It was our last evening to hunt and we had nothing to lose, so we backed up, quickly circled all the way around and tried to make something out of nothing. As we slowly closed the distance, I finally spotted him below me, still feeding along the ledge in the brush. He was working away from us, and we had no choice but to try and push right into range for a shot.
That first shot was horrible, guys. I don't know if it was just me, I couldn't hold steady, and then the wind was blowing it that way, and it drifted it quite a ways further back, but it really hit him hard. He went and bedded down at the bottom, and I was able to get the wind directly at my back, strip down, get everything, relax, dial in the option sight, and he was 81 yards. And I'm pretty sure I pinwheeled him. And that second shot pounded him like 30 seconds after the first one. And I redeemed myself because that deer is laying dead like 60 yards from where that shot hit him. He was bleeding. Yeah, that was lung blood for sure. And there he is. That is the deer that I spent 4 days last year chasing. Darcy and I were down here. We hiked our bags off to try and kill this deer. We had one good stalk on him in that exact same sage patch, and he got away from us. And this year we found him. I couldn't believe it, but I recognized him immediately, just the way he comes out and then boxes right up. Beautiful frame deer. So we had to circle way around, sneak up in there, and it looked like he was leaving. And I had one window when I seen him stepping down. I got up, I took 5 or 6 steps, got into a lane where I could shoot through. And I mean, I know we're gonna get some nasty comments over it and people are gonna say we should have done things differently, but the truth is, it was a comfortable shot. The wind was mostly at my back, a little bit of a crosswind, and I was solid at 40 yards. And as I was shooting, a big gust of wind came up, and I don't know if it blew my bow, pushed the arrow, what it was. But yeah, it wasn't a great shot. But luckily, he ran 60, 70 yards and bedded back down immediately because he was hurting. And I took my time, got a good solid range on him, loaded another Rex bit in, and pretty well pinwheeled him at 80 yards, laying down. And it was a redeeming shot.
This sucks. We're only like an eighth of the way.
There are easier ways to recreate.